Fresno State Focus, learn how you can avoid being duped by fake news.
Also, we'll show you how to gain connections to find a job right out of college.
Plus, if you're a student in need of housing, learn how you can apply for the new complex being built near Fresno State. Fresno State Focus starts now.
Hello and welcome to Fresno State Focus. I'm Brittany Steele.
And I'm Gina Avalos. 2020 Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders will no longer be making a stop in Fresno tomorrow. He's in the hospital. He is taking a break from the campaign trail because of heart problems. He suffered from an artery blockage and had 2 stents put in. His fellow Democratic opponents and supporters like Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez have sent him get well messages on Twitter. His campaign said he is resting up and in good spirits. All his appearances are canceled until further notice.
National political reporter Robert Costa talked about all things Trump during the President's Lecture Series at the Save Mart Center last night. This is the 3rd time the Washington Post reporter has visited Fresno State to talk about national politics. He met with the local media before the event and talked about what it's like to be a reporter during the Trump administration. He said the media is being tested right now.
President Trump is so outside of the norm of American politics that he has changed the way we cover politics, he has changed the way we talk about politics. So as a reporter, I'm really trying to understand the change in this country all of the time. A friend to me in recent years.
After speaking for 30 minutes, he sat down with a panel of Fresno State students and professors to talk about state and national issues. About 700 people attended last night's lecture and panel.
The Fresno State newspaper needs money to stay in business. The fellow collegian writers spoke to ASI Senate explaining the importance of keeping the newspaper. 77% of the students' fees go to operating the collegian, and that is still not enough. The collegian is asking for each student to pay an extra $5 in student fees.
Not eligible to go to that committee board because of the type of fee that the collegian receives. We would have to go to a student referendum or a student vote. So right now we're in the process of putting that into motion.
If the referendum does not get approved, the collegian would have to cut hours, cut staff, and could, worst case scenario, even shut down the student-run newspaper. The Institute for Media and Public Trust at Fresno State is busy teaching students about media, fake news, and the Constitution in a fun way. On the Constitution Day, the Institute held an event on the First Amendment to educate students on the 5 freedoms: freedom of religion, speech, press, and assembly. After spinning a wheel, students went around each table to learn about each freedom. More and more students are turning to the internet and social media for their news.
Reporter Janet Vasquez is here to tell us how students deal with fake news. Janet.
With so much information out there, it can be hard to separate real from fake. The rise of misinformation has some people taking a closer look at where they get their news. Take a look around the college campus and you'll see students locked onto their phones or laptops. This is how they stay connected and informed. But now it's getting harder than ever to separate fact from fake. Verifying sources is more critical than ever.
I don't usually check my sources very often, especially who the author is, or just like if I see something, just like a news headline, I'm probably not gonna research it if it doesn't interest me.
The internet has made it easier than ever to spread fake news. Websites like these help generate fake news links in just a matter of clicks. Sites like Facebook and Google have tried to tackle the issue on their platforms. But that can be hard when anybody can create fake news. And with the help of social media, these lies can spread like wildfire. There are even sites that mimic the appearance of real sites. Look here, see the URL? It says .co. That's a fake. The real one is abcnews.go.com. Always check the URLs to ensure you're getting the real deal.
I mean, if it's news from some kind of sketchy site that I've never heard of before, then I know that I read it with a grain of salt, knowing that it could be not that accurate.
Taking the time to make sure your news is accurate is key.
Most of the time I do, like if someone posted something that I'm like, something interesting about, so I would research myself and then see like my own opinion, get my own opinion out of it.
A few seconds of checking your sources can mean the difference between reading fact or a fake. But that can be hard to do if you don't know what to look for. Joining me today to talk about the issue of fake news is Jim Boren of Fresno State's Institute for Media and Public Trust. Thank you for joining us today, Jim.
Thank you for having me here.
So, we've all heard the term fake news, but what exactly is fake news?
It's simply content that's made up where people want to deceive the readers into believing that it's factual. Fake news is fake news. It's not news that somebody doesn't like. It's actually made up content that is not real.
And why has fake news become such a big issue in recent years?
Well, we've always had a version of fake news, but with the internet now and social media sites, it can just get spread much more quickly across the world.
And for young people who get their news online, what are some tips that you can give them to help spot fake news?
Well, start with using your critical thinking skills, and does it make sense? Does it pass the smell test? Check your biases at the door. We tend to believe the worst about people we don't agree with. So make sure that you're looking at the red flags that might come up. Look for all sorts of tricks to use, such as the fact-checking sites that can tell you whether it's fake or not. Multiple fact-checking sites are available. Go to the search engines if it's a big story. The search engines, other news media will probably have that. If it's an obscure site that has a lot of typos and other kinds of things on it, doesn't have a lot of bylines, there's not a lot of other kinds of content, the site may not be legitimate.
Yeah. And how has fake news affected our society as a whole?
Well, I think it goes to the heart of our democracy. There was a time when we could at least agree on what the facts were, and then we'd make up our own minds on have our opinions. Now it's very difficult to sort out what the facts are, and people challenge each other on the various sides. So if we can't even have the ground rules of what the facts are, it's very difficult then to get out of our silos and out of our opinions, whatever our philosophy may be.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us, Jim. That's some great information that is surely going to help our viewers spot fake news. Back to you, Brittany.
Today, October 2nd, is known worldwide as International Day of Nonviolence. Celebrating Gandhi's 150th birthday, reporter Chelsea Chavira is live in the Peace Garden where the event will be happening later today.
Gandhi is known worldwide because of his stand against hate crimes. His bravery to fight for justice for all shows us how to react without using violence. He created a path for religious leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. and Cesar Chavez to stand up for what was right.
We cannot look at him like a blueprint. We can't say, well, Gandhi did this, we should do that. But we can learn from it and apply in a new context.
Today, Gandhi's theories are still relevant because we are dealing with issues like racism, sexism, and our forms of religious bigotry in our modern day. Many people consider him a prophet of nonviolence and a father of the 20th century human rights movement.
To continue the celebration, tonight at 6, right here in the Peace Garden where I am standing, there's going to be a celebration, and it's going to include a garlanding flowers ceremony, and it's going to have a candlelight vigil that starts at 6 o'clock. And then next week, on Thursday, October 10th, and then Friday, October 11th, Dr. Vina Howard is going to be hosting an event that's going to be talking to have keynote speakers, and they're going to be talking about Gandhi and what his legacy has led to and what we can do for the future to help, and how his issue, like his theories, can apply to modern day. And then after that, there's going to be an Indian music class or classical music, and then that's going to go and that's going to celebrate, or that's going to end the ceremony. And so then they can. Okay, and I'm Chelsea Chavira, live at the Peace Garden. Back to you, Brittany.
Thanks, Chelsea. And more than 2,000 people in Fresno took a walk to end Alzheimer's on Saturday and raised almost $200,000. People came from all over the valley to help raise awareness in Alzheimer's research. Many people walked the 2 miles with joy, carrying their promised flowers. They were able to pick up the flowers from the Promise Garden, and each one had a different meaning. Some left them blank, and others wrote an inspiring message for their loved ones. This event is held annually in over 600 communities nationwide and always needs support. Coming up on Fresno State Focus, it's the beginning of the Big Fresno Fair, and we'll give you a preview of this year's excitement, taking you to opening day.
And I'll show you how you can overcome the fear of not getting a job after graduation. Also, at least 12 people have died from vaping, including one in the Central Valley. The Public Health Department is here to tell us how to stay safe.
Plus, looks like we won't be needing a jacket yet. I'll have your focus on weather when we come back.
Success. At Fresno State, it's no secret. It's discovering new ways to change our world. It's creating opportunities as diverse as our community itself. It's in the distinction of our graduates as they lead us into the future. Success is no secret at Fresno State. It's our mission.
This is our Fresno State, forming relationships and learning experiences that last a lifetime, making friends who are like family, learning from professors who treat us like family, and earning a degree to make a better future for our family. Engaging our alumni generation by generation by generation. This is our Fresno State. Welcome to the family.
Big times are back in the Central Valley because today is opening day for the Big Fresno Fair. The Big Fresno Fair runs until October 14th, and there is a lot to see and do each day. Many people at the fair are enjoying their favorite fair foods like corn dogs, fruit cups, and shaved ice. Aside from food and vendors, there are people like the Unicorn Man and Slim and Curly to make you laugh while enjoying the sights and smells. The rides were being tested this morning to make sure they are ready to go for opening night. The fair will be open tonight until 11. And it's been perfect fair weather today. Elise, what's it looking like?
That's right, Brittany. That's right, Brittany. We do have great weather. Check out this beauty shot right behind me, right in front of our studios. Check out that gorgeous sky. And if you go into the satellite, nation satellite over here, out in the southeast part of our country, we do have dry conditions. Up north by New York, we do have some scattered clouds. Over here in the middle part, we have North Dakota is currently receiving snow, or rain that is turning into snow, and Minnesota is currently receiving snow at this very moment. Out in the western part of our nation, out here in Washington and Oregon, we do have some cloud activity. Out here in the Central Valley, we do have dry conditions, but we do have this cool front coming in that could potentially bring cooler conditions in the next couple of days. Currently right now, 80s all across the board, Stockton and Modesto, high 70s, Shaver Lake 55, later tonight, mid 40s, and some high 40s as well. Oakhurst could potentially be receiving freezing point. And check out this air quality, great all across the board. I would definitely take advantage of this great air quality. And for extended outlook today, 79, Thursday 81, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, great temperatures for the first weekend of the fair. Monday 90, Tuesday 88. That is your weather focus. Back to you, Brittany.
Thanks, Elise. And one of the most common fears for a college student is not getting a job after graduation. I got to travel to San Antonio, and I'll show you one student working to eliminate that fear. Fresno State senior Melissa Munoz traveled 1,500 miles to San Antonio to attend the Excellence in Journalism Conference, also known as EIJ.
I am overwhelmed because
with thousands of professional journalists, educators, recruiters, and students, there's a lot to see and do.
So far, I already spoke to multiple people.
This is her first time experiencing it all. From her first plane ride to meeting pros like Emmy Award-winning journalist Boyd Hubert.
I've been here several times, and it's always energizing to see young people, and it gives me hope because I see their passion and enthusiasm, and I don't worry about the profession.
Hubert presented 2 workshops, one on storytelling tools and another on how to be a storyteller. And where else are these students going to get this opportunity to connect with, talk with, and interview with news outlets like CBS News? We have National Public Radio. NBC News is here. We have Fox all the way down here. Over here we've got CNN. So many news outlets are here, and they're all here to help these students. Camelia Juarez enjoys this conference more than others she's been to.
It's just an opportunity to keep learning, and you should never stop wanting to learn, especially in a career like this where it's just constantly changing.
For Ashley Bowerman, EIJ was something she couldn't miss.
This is what I needed, and it came to me, so it's been awesome.
And it was all worth it.
I was more on the hesitant side, but I'm so glad I came. I'm so glad I met everyone here and got those connections.
And Munoz was telling me that she is now ready to take what she's learned at EIJ back to her college classes here in Fresno. And if you are interested in attending EIJ, details on next year's conference are on our website, FresnoStateFocus.com.
Earlier this month, the Trump administration said it would push for a ban on all flavored e-cigarettes. Vaping illnesses have quickly become a serious health risk, and lawmakers want to take action. We're here today with Alvisha Johnson from the Tobacco Prevention Program in Fresno County. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So for people who don't know, what is vaping?
Sure, so vaping is characterized by the use of electronic smoking devices or electronic ESDs.
So what are the health risks of vaping?
Sure, some health risks associated with vaping as an increased exposure to high levels of nicotine, which is one of the most toxic chemicals in some of the tobacco products. Some side effects include, specifically for youth, it's probably going to include irritability, mood swings, anxiety, impulsivity, as well as other potential learning difficulties in terms of attention and memory.
So can we get into specifically what vaping is?
Sure, so vaping associated pulmonary injury. It's actually a severe lung disease that's typically characterized by recent use of electronic smoking devices.
And are there any programs here in the Fresno County that can help people who are going through addictions like vaping?
Sure, we always refer to the California Smokers Helpline, which has information online for e-cigarette use cessation. That information is available at nobuts.org/vaping.
So right here, what we have in front of us is the actual devices that people use to vape, correct? So this is the juice.
This is one of the flavored e-liquids. This one is sriracha flavored, and that's kind of what the wave is for some of these newer products, especially for targeting. They can tend to target youth, or they're marketed for youth because they're flavored and they're fun flavors. So.
Yeah. Of course. Well, thank you so much for being with us today here. We've been talking to Alvisha Johnson from the Tobacco Prevention Program here in Fresno County. Thank you so much, Alvisha.
Thank you.
Coming up in sports, the football team is home after a big win at New Mexico State. See which players stood out during Saturday's game and who played for the first time in his collegiate career. Plus, find out how intramural sports is a great way to meet new friends and stay active. Stay tuned for sports with Erica Rosinski.
I got the bulldog spirit up in my head.
Up in my head.
Up in my head.
I got that bulldog spirit up in my head. Up in my head to say. I got that bulldog spirit deep in my heart. Deep in my heart. Deep in my heart. Got that bulldog spirit deep in my heart. Deep in my heart to stay. I got that bulldog spirit down in my toes. Down in my toes. Down in my toes. I got that bulldog spirit down in my toes. Hey. Down in my toes to stay. I got that bulldog spirit up in my head, deep in my heart, down in my toes. I got that bulldog spirit all over me to stay. I got that bulldog spirit
deep in my heart.
Deep in my heart, deep in my heart. I got that bulldog spirit.
Success. At Fresno State, it's no secret. It's discovering new ways to change our world. It's creating opportunities as diverse as our community itself. It's in the distinction of our graduates as they lead us into the future. Success is no secret at Fresno State. It's our mission.
I truly feel the heartbeat of everyone who's invested in this place, and I know why we're here. To develop our young men into winners in every respect, as people of character and leaders of integrity. To demonstrate what it is to be a community working as one, respecting traditions and creating new ones. That's building something bigger than just a great football team. That's being a Bulldog.
Welcome back. I'm Erica Rosinski. Here's your quick focus on sports. The Fresno State football team is taking this weekend off to prepare for their first Mountain West game against Air Force, but they're working off a big win on the road at New Mexico State. Emorie Edwards stepped on the field for the first time and led the team with 8 receptions for 70 yards. Wyland Free grabbed his first interception by running it 91 yards down the sideline for a touchdown. His second interception happened the last 4 minutes of the game. The Bulldogs will go head-to-head against the Falcons on October 12th at 4 p.m. The Fresno State volleyball team had a major win over the weekend during their Mountain West home opener. The Dogs beat Nevada by winning all 3 sets. The first set was a close score ending at 25-21. The second and final set both marked a 25-20 score. Redshirt freshman Lauren Sabatini scored a career high of 13 kills. The Dogs are back at home tomorrow night at 6 as they face New Mexico at the Save Mart Center. To buy tickets for the next game, you can visit gobulldogs.com for more information. The Fresno State women's soccer team also held its Mountain West home opener but lost by 1. The Bulldogs went head-to-head against Air Force on Friday night and fell to the Falcons 1-0. The Falcons scored on a penalty kick in the second half of the game. Robin McCarthy and Jordan Brown both scored season highs by taking 2 shots apiece. The next home game is tomorrow at the Soccer and Lacrosse Stadium as they will face Utah State at 7 p.m. Intramural sports is one way for students to get those competitive juices flowing again. Let's take a look at how it all works and how it's a great way to meet new friends. Allison Ferris says joining a team doesn't take up that much of your time between classes, homework, and exams.
Not at all. Games are once a week at night usually, so it's kind of nice to get away from homework and stuff for a while.
With a lot of sports already being offered, something new is happening for all students, and it's been a long time coming.
Our first Friday night bowling league only on Fridays, so we kind of worked a deal with the bowling alley and us, which we've tried to in the past, but it finally worked.
Bowling brings in yet another sport, but what Craig Parishing goes for in every event is sportsmanship.
Like, we're not here to destroy a team, we're just here to have fun, and it's like an outlet from class. People could go out, people could do this, but this is the fun part of college.
Playing here is exciting in the sense that everyone can join, just like these students behind me. There are 3 different divisions: varsity players, students looking to just have fun, and fraternities and women's league. Lane Maloney plays intramural softball, basketball, and football, and he's working on his MBA.
What else are you going to do on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night? I mean, yeah, homework, but I don't know, you just get a group of your buddies around, you go out. A lot of us are kind of just washed up high school athletes, so it's just a good time to get back out here and get the competitive juices flowing again.
A great way to meet new friends and make new memories. There is a lot of talk about college athletes in California, and will they get paid? What's going on, Brittany?
Yes, Erica, college athletes in California might be able to earn money off the rights to their name, image, or likeness now without getting in trouble. This is because of the Fair Pay to Play Act, a bill signed into law this week by Governor Newsom. This bill is causing a lot of confusion, and today we have Fresno native and professional basketball player Quincy Pondexter here to talk with us about the bill. Thank you for joining us today, Quincy.
Thanks for having me.
So, what is this bill saying?
This bill is giving the high school going to be college athletes an opportunity to make money off their likeness, be able to provide whether it's shoe deals or social media deals that they're able to get and capitalize on their money while they're in college. This gives them the opportunity to make some financial earnings while still being a college student.
How would you describe a college athlete's likeness?
Your likeness is who you are. I think it's built so much on now because you have a profile, you have a social media, you have ways that people can follow you and identify you and be able to track and be like you. And so this gives you ways to earn money in different categories, whether it's selling products online or all these people that want to sponsor you. That gives you this window of time to say, I can make my money and earning off of this without taking from the school.
So it's not taking from the school. Where is it coming from?
It's coming from sponsors. It's coming from different ways, broad range of advertisements that a player could use during this college time, and whoever wants to give them deals, it's an opportunity for them to go get those.
And so as a professional basketball player yourself,
Yes.
someone who has played basketball your entire life,
Yeah.
what does this mean to you?
Oh, it's awesome. This is a huge stepping stone for players like myself who going to college. I didn't have much financial resources, and my parents didn't have much. And once you have a full day of basketball in school, you don't have a chance to work a job, so your financial means are really, really tight. And this gives the kids some opportunity to make money and help take care of their families and provide for them while still playing the game that they love.
Thank you for joining us, Quincy.
Thank you.
Unfortunately,
Thank
that's
you.
all the time we have today.
Thank you.
We've been joined with Quincy Pondexter, a professional basketball player.
After a decade of almost no new student housing, a new apartment complex is being built near Fresno State. Reporter Alice Clavijo tells us how housing will bring more people to the surrounding neighborhoods and community.
With new housing being built near Fresno State,
I'm not sure that really they know about us yet.
students will have more choices. Wendy Going is a leasing director.
I believe it's been about 9 years since anything new as far as student housing has been built. 9-10 years, I believe. So it's new.
Student ambassadors Courtney Perkins and RJ Bernard will be the first people to sign the first leasing applications. They are both getting paid to promote Topanga Ridge.
We're going to do a lot of residence activities, so we'll be involved, we'll both be down there, and it's just a great way to meet a bunch of people because it will be mostly all college students. So.
After the most recent fire that left several students without a home, Topanga Ridge will now be a new addition to student housing. Management also says new security would be added to the area.
You start cleaning up an area and making change in a positive way. I think that is going to just make people a lot more comfortable and make them want to be here.
That is the message Bernard is trying to get out.
Personally, I'm excited because it's my first step of becoming an adult, and Fresno State's down the street. I get to separate myself, and I'm excited for all the fun that's going to be coming later on this next year.
Topanga Ridge is now accepting student housing applications and will officially be open in the fall of 2020. Reporting from Fresno, Alice Clavijo, Fresno State Focus.
Next week on Fresno State Focus, the family event Homecoming Big Show is right around the corner.
Plus, don't miss out on Mutt and Bustin' at the Big Fresno Fair.
And if you are a coffee lover, we'll show you a coffee shop that travels on wheels.
And we want to take a moment to remember a Fresno State student taken much too soon. Earlier this week, freshman Olivia Mendoza was killed in a car crash by a driver suspected to be under the influence. Mendoza was a criminology major who graduated from Carruthers High School. We are so sorry for the family and the university's loss. We'll see you next week.